9/11, Roswell, JFK, reptilians. What do all these things have in common? They're conspiracy theories. And in this video, I'm going to share with you 3 truths about conspiracy theories that may make you feel better and help you sleep at night a little bit more. Welcome back to another video. My name is Aaron. I help people expand their consciousness. Now in this video, I'm going to be going deep on a topic that I haven't talked that much about. And one of the reasons I haven't talked that much about it is because a lot of times when you talk about it, when you talk about conspiracy theories, it can be a more negative thing for people because people hear it and then they may hear certain things and then get kind of scared because then the conspiracy theories, which by the way, I looked up conspire. I was like, I want to be able to explain this, and if I have a definition, it's much more legit. I was like, and I just kind of want to know too, conspiracy theory. Conspire just means like a secret plan to do some type of act. And when we look at that of the people behind the government, whatever we want to call them, there's definitely stuff going on that isn't in the limelight. And when we think it's the government too, it's kind of like a blanket statement because I believe there's deeper levels to this whole process. Now let me first off kind of make this a little bit more relatable and say that many people that go through a spiritual awakening process may then go through and learn meditation, start having positive benefits with that, and then wonder to themselves, why wasn't I taught this in school? I'm taught all this other stuff. I know the Pythagorean theorem, kind of, the thing, I know that, but I don't know how to meditate. And meditation changed my life so much. Why was I necessarily taught this? And when we go down the rabbit hole, we begin to see that maybe there's some intention behind not learning certain things, and maybe a lot of what we learn is in a way a distraction from the truth about who we really are. And I came to that conclusion through meditation, through doing my own research and coming across information that then began to link up. It's not like you read one little thing online, you're like, oh, this is true. But you read it, and then you see it, and then you talk, and then you get all these little things that show that maybe their reality is a little bit different than we priorly thought that it was. And that's what happens for many people on the spiritual awakening process. They eventually come to a phase. I call it a phase. I went through a phase where I was really into studying conspiracy theories. This is back in 2012. I learned meditation. Within a couple weeks, got rid of taking Adderall, which is the prescription drug I took for having ADHD. Got rid of smoking weed. I just started feeling good a majority of the time. Didn't drink alcohol anymore. I just felt generally better. And then I started going deeper as to wanting to know more about how reality works and why it seems like a lot of things are kind of suppressed and not really put in the mainstream. And that's when you go down the route of conspiracy theories, to conspire. Now, well, you don't conspire, but you see that maybe other people have conspired. Well, what happened is that I went through about a month or 2 of looking into these and being really interested, because when you realize there's a whole level to reality that maybe you weren't shown before, it makes it a little bit more interesting. I wonder what I wasn't taught, I wonder what could be true. And that's when I then started in a way to realize that a lot of people that get stuck in the whole conspiracy theory route, whether it's David Icke, who I think David Icke has great intentions. However, I think that sometimes what happens with conspiracy theories is it then brings up a lot of negative things in people, a lot of fear, because then they think to themselves, well, a lot of what I thought to be true, maybe reality is completely different than I think. And that scares some people. And when people know that, or think that maybe there's people behind they think that there's people behind other things that have happened, then it brings up this fear, like there's someone after them or something that, someone that has bad intentions for the collective. Now, what I learned through that process, by the way, first off, is that I had to become aware of that it may exist. Some of it may exist. However, the more you get entrained in it, the more you'll find it does perpetuate fear, if that's the way you respond to it. But I found that it's cool to get into it and then to get out of it. To say, yes, maybe reality is a little bit different than we think, but don't stay there. Because if you stay there, you'll then find that it drains a lot of your energy. And I think one of the things that actually makes conspiracy theories powerful and gives power to the thing that you don't want to give power to is when you're fearful of it and you're literally giving your energy to it. So when I share what I'm going to share with you, the 3 truths about this that make it so much easier to understand, know that some of these conspiracy theories may be actually true. However, I'm not afraid of them. Not because I'm really cool and like or anything. Just there's a certain perspective I have about these. I got into it and then I got out of it and I'm aware of it, and some people will say, well, what about this, Aaron? What about that? And I just kind of, I'm able, the thing is when you give something attention and energy and fear, or it should change, you're feeding it. You're feeding that reality. So what I did is I got in, became aware of it, and then kind of got out and said, what can I do to change this? So in a way, a lot of the teachings that I have on YouTube may bring into awareness certain things, but without the fear. It's like David Icke, but a little bit the opposite side of the spectrum, where it's not going to bring out fear, it's going to bring out empowerment. And I believe that us as a collective are starting to wake up. And because we're starting to wake up and we have something like the internet, this information comes to the surface. It's no longer really a theory. Some of it may not be a theory. Some of it may come out when you get these whistleblowers and stuff like that. And it begins to wake us up even more. Now, the first thing I want to share with you when I found my marker is the first truth about conspiracy theories that make you sleep better at night and that are more positive is, first off, we are all one. Oh, come on, Aaron. I was hoping you'd say something juicy about Roswell. I was hoping you'd say something cool about JFK or something like that. All one? What does that mean? Let me share with you this. So, this is from what I understand. If you want to read the books of Dolores Cannon, there's other, The Law of One, there's many different books that talk about this idea. But what happened with Earth, and what shows through the works of Dolores Cannon, or many different channeled texts that are kind of coming out as well, is Earth is a place where we have what is called free will, where we forget who we are when we are born. We come into this reality, we forget who we are, and part of the purpose is so that we can then remember who we are. Now what happens is there is in a way, influence from different types of power, from different types of beings. And the reason this is because when you can control the thought process of billions of people on the planet and make them believe that they're not powerful, it's much easier to control. Have all these systems and belief systems set in place that keep people within a certain range of what they're capable of. And here's kind of what happens. What happens is you go to a 9-to-5 job that you might not like, or an 8-to-5, whatever it is. You work a lot. You're trying to build up the corporate ladder. You watch the news. I'm not saying you, by the way. I love you. I just mean people in general. People watch the news. They try to grind up the corporate ladder. They go to school for a certain number of years so that they can eventually get the job and then retire when they're a certain age and then go and live in Florida and all this stuff. However, they're so busy they barely have time to ask, who am I? Why am I here? They're playing a part of the system, and that's most people get caught up in that hamster wheel. Now what happens is that system was set in place intentionally. Have you ever noticed that almost 99.99% of the stuff in the news is negative? Have you ever wondered why? Why is it because that's how negative the world is? No, but that's the way it's advertised to be. And then what does it do? It keeps people in fear. And when people are in fear, they're less likely to do things. They're less likely to question things because they're in a low vibration state of consciousness. Now, when I say now that could sound negative, but it's actually not negative. The thing that I want to share with you is that we're such powerful beings, all of us, that we came here to wake up to who we are. Now what happened is one of the rules about this reality is you forget who you are so that you can then remember who you are. For maybe thousands of years, there's been this control on the planet. Now, what we've decided to do is, many of us have decided to come here to wake up who we are, to then become aware of these things, because then that has an effect on the collective consciousness, the belief system, the way that we think as a collective. What was controlled before was the collective thought pattern, the collective thought form of what we think is possible at a mass form. That's why there's a negative connotation on conspiracy theories. You're crazy if you even think that could be true. But a lot of times what that says is I'm just afraid that if it were true, then I'd have to question my whole view of reality and my trust in my society, all these different things. However, here's the thing. Now, when we look at these people that have controlled the government and all of the, not even the government, it's behind that. When we look at that, what we need to realize is that they're playing an important part. See, reality is somewhat like a game. Yes, there's some pain in this game. There's some things that don't feel the best to experience. There's some things that are unfathomable with the way that some things happen. However, we're eternal spiritual beings having temporary human experiences. Almost any ancient text will tell you this. However, one of the things that we did is we all signed up for different roles in this game of life. Some people signed up for the role to play the person that's going to try to control things. They are connected to us. We are all one consciousness. So when people get angry at them, it's with the lack of awareness that they are playing a part. They may not be aware that they're playing a part. But when people dislike the president or all these different things, understand that at the deepest level, we're all connected. And that we're all playing a certain part in reality. And when we realize that, we can then see that they're actually doing an act of service. We wanted some challenge with this game. We wanted to wake up and to go through the process of remembering who we are. So we needed some people to say, oh, hey, control this area. And it's a cosmic game. We live in a cosmic reality. We forget who we are. We come here to then remember who we are. And then what happens is we begin to become empowered, which is what's happening right now on the planet. Now, the good thing to know is that we're all one, and that these people, the negative people, all these different things, right, even reptilians, we're all connected. All of us. There are some beings that aren't aware of their own power, so they believe they need to take it from other people or control the certain vibration of the way things are. However, the more aware of this we become, the more that power is going away, but we can have compassion for them. If we have fear about them, then we play into that reality, we lower our vibration, and then we're more likely to experience negative synchronicity. But if we acknowledge it, say, yeah, maybe that does exist, but guess what? That's still another aspect of my consciousness. It's still here, and it's playing an important part so that we can then become aware of who we are, so we can have this awakening that's been happening on the planet. It's like an avalanche. You look out there, I don't see an awakening, I see a lot of negative stuff happening on CNN and Fox News. Well, guess what? That's because of what is projected out. So have a more neutral standpoint. Realize we're all one. Some people are just playing the part. That's it. They're playing the part. Now, the second good thing about conspiracy theories is tech. What I mean by this is because of the internet and the time that we're in right now, a lot of these things that used to be completely crazy, some of them are starting to be shown that they could be true. You've got whistleblowers, you've got people coming out, and because of the internet now, it's like the information's becoming harder and harder to control. Back in the day, it was easy to control because you had one or two little things that, if you controlled that, then you controlled everything. The narrative, the perspective, everything. Now you got the internet, which is very different. So what happens is, one of the positive things about this is that we have tech where now these things aren't as easily hidden. You know, there's something that I watch that is on Gaia TV. There's something I watch that is called that of Cosmic Disclosure. I've showed a lot of people it on Instagram, and I get so many people that message me saying thank you for showing me that. It's opened up my eyes to a whole new level. And if you go to gaia.com/Aaron, Aaron, you will see some of the top episodes. One of them, they'll be for free as well. Some of them, I have an episode for free there that you can see. But there's a guy named Corey Good with that of David Wilcock. They do this interview, and you see some of the things that someone has been through. And he's either it's either what he's saying is true, or he is more creative than J.K. Rowling with the details that he shares with some of these things. And it shows you that there's a totally different level of reality that we're not even aware of. We're in our little petri dish over here, worried about taxes and all these other things that are distractions, not knowing that there's a whole cosmic reality When we talk about ETs, it's becoming more and more well known and accepted that ETs exist. We're not the special snowflake in the sky and that's it. We're starting to realize how ridiculous and egotistical that sounds. And what we can then begin to realize is that there's really not much to fear except for our... See, we assume that anything outside of us is going to have the same level of consciousness as us. So what we assume is that, well, we're at war with each other. I hate this type of person, and therefore they must hate us. But see, many of these, whatever you want to call it, ETs or higher dimensional beings, they realize that we're connected. And because they realize we're connected, guess what? They would never harm us or try to blow us up. Now, yes, there may exist lower vibrational ones that try to influence it, but remember, they're still part of you. At the deepest level, they're still connected to you. And what we're doing now is, my intention with this video is to show you don't be afraid. Yes, some of this stuff might be true. It's exciting. It's part of the cosmic game of reality. The key to this is waking up and realizing that this is part of the game. Don't feed your energy to it. Realize that now is the time of awakening. But like I said, that Cosmic Disclosure show, there's many other shows in Gaia that I watch, like Beyond Belief with George Norrie. Very interesting. We'll show you there's a whole new level of reality. Go to Gaia.com/Aaron. You will check those out there, and you can, I think you get a 2-week free trial or something too. You'll see. Now, the third truth has to do with something that I saw one time when Bashar was being interviewed, when somebody was asking a question of Bashar. And one person was asking about chemtrails. What about chemtrails? All these planes that put out this, this thing that influences the environment and all this stuff in a negative way. And what Bashar kept saying is that pretty much the more you feed that, the more that then becomes your reality. But basically what he was saying is that there's many different timelines that any one of us on Earth can experience. The more we feed the negative timelines is the more likely we are going to, in a way, experience more of that. So, in a sense, if you were to not pay attention to those negative timelines and feed your energy to it, it's less likely you wouldn't be experiencing more of that. So basically, where your attention goes is where probability goes. And if you're afraid of something happening and you're feeding that energy, then you start going down that timeline. The key is just being aware. Do I prefer that? Do I prefer that? And do I want to put my energy into this? One thing I do is I don't watch the news. Yes, I know there's the Heineken, what is it, the whatever virus that's out or whatever. I know. I know it's called, whatever it's called. Anyways, but that's the idea. You see, it's like, if you pay attention to it, you're feeding it, and if you get scared, then you're putting out that fearful energy, and then you're more likely to experience negative synchronicity. The truth about it is you don't have to focus on it. You can focus on what you want. So it's all about timeline and focus. Timeline and focus. So what you do is you don't focus on it. Don't watch the news. Watch something that makes you feel powerful. If you watch the news and you feel great, then do it. I very highly doubt that that's what happens. Unless it's maybe a certain type of news station. But in general, realize, don't get sucked into the negativity of these things. It will keep you in low vibration. It will feed the other paradigms. Realize you came here to wake up. It's an exciting time to be alive. We're all one. We're just playing the different parts of this on Earth right now. And what we can then begin to do is realize. Realize, the regular word realize. Realize, lies, L-I-E-S. Okay, anyways, I love you. I hope you enjoyed this video. Watch this video right here. It's awesome. And on that, as always, peace, much love, and namaste.